Going on, Jerome's. So I love this surplus of behind-the-scenes content that's going on nowadays. You have the receiver doc. You have all the versions, 17 different versions of Hard Knocks. You have All or Nothing when they do that. And right now, so hot right now, is New York Giants Offseason on Hard Knocks. Right, so it's covering free agency, the draft, Joe Shine, Brian Daboll and company working through the draft, figuring out what they're going to do. Also, the drama with Saquon before he went to the Eagles. It's interesting, man. But more importantly for us, you get a full three-dimensional picture of what happened with the quarterback process, as well as how other teams see our guy, JJ McCarthy. That's right, the pride of Michigan. It's going to convert me to a Wolverines fan. Although I've been a quasi-Michigan fan since the Fab Five, but it's a story for another day. But, JJ McCarthy, all he did was win no matter what at Michigan, beat Ohio State, won the Natty. Jim Harbaugh, who is definitely not prone to enthusiasm and hyperbole, called him the greatest quarterback in Michigan history after the Rose Bowl, which, I mean, it's kind of fair. I mean, the greatest quarterbacks in Michigan history, Brian Griese, JJ McCarthy, that's it. That's it. No one else of note has been quarterback at Michigan. Oh, Shoelace Robinson. Other than that, no one. But he did drop to number 10 overall, and the Vikings selected him the highest drafted quarterback in team history, and it's beautiful, right? So things worked out the way they were meant to work out. And, yeah, I mean, Drake May, Jane Daniels, Michael Penix, it's all fun and games, right? But for my money and the fact that the Vikings didn't have to give up the farm, the future first rounder, to get McCarthy, and he's a perfectly suited for what Kevin McConnell wants to do, thrown accurately over the middle of the field, play action, all the intangibles, the work ethic, all that stuff. It just syncs up, right? You're good to go. Even though, and then the Giants at 6 took Malik Neighbors, the pride of LSU. Even though, did you know the Vikings are trying to trade up to 5 for Malik Neighbors? Shut up. That's all, man. But what's interesting is that the Giants, even though they took the receiver to pair with Daniel Jones, because Danny Dimes doesn't have any weapons. Please. I'm just trying to ignore the fact that Daniel Jones beat the Vikings in the playoffs 2 years ago, but whatever, right? So, the whole thing about Daniel Jones not having weapons on the outside, and that'll be put to bed. Malik Neighbors is going to be a stud, and now they'll actually see if Daniel Jones is worth $40 million a year. Spoiler, he's not. But the Giants did their diligence on McCarthy, and they could have taken him at 6 or even had a small trade back potentially and still got their guy. But either way, Joe Shane and company, even though they did a ton of homework on McCarthy, they decided to pass. And what's interesting is that he was in episode 2 of Hard Knocks. So, McCarthy, Drake May, Caleb Williams made a cameo, as well as Jane Daniels were at the Combine with the private interviews, and McCarthy, breaking down a play, and he did with the play. I feel like him and probably Drake May were the most comfortable at the board, and McCarthy was thrown in different formations and motions and stuff. It was really interesting to watch. I think Brian Daboll, who's not prone to be impressed, I feel like he was impressed. And Jordan Silvera tweeted this out with some of the footage from Hard Knocks. Why was Vikings quarterback JJ McCarthy the quarterback I felt most confident projecting success to in the 2024 draft? He was a quarterback mature enough at 20 to be trusted to operate a pro-style scheme with full autonomy to override protections and play calls alike. Call plays just like an NFL quarterback too, and that's exactly what it was. And they alluded to that in the Hard Knocks episode. The Giants scouts were talking about how McCarthy and Michigan, he did run a pro-style scheme. He was given free reign to check out an audible at the line of scrimmage. He did help calling and protections, and also, the offensive line initially called the protections, but then he had the authority to override, which I'm sure that he did from time to time. But also just given, I think that speaks more to McCarthy's maturity and willingness to win, because the knock against McCarthy is that he did not put up monster stats at Michigan, even though they were just completely dominating, especially this last season, basically every single game, except for the semifinals in the college football playoffs against Alabama, against Diamond Dallas Turner, and Roll Tide. But it speaks to the maturity of McCarthy, because, I mean, if you're a quarterback with an ego, all of a sudden, checking to those those pass plays looks a little bit better than those run plays that are going to work because you have a great running game and a great offensive line, right? And also, I feel like the fact that he dealt with Jim Harbaugh for 3 years, and Harbaugh's had success in the NFL. He's been a pro's pro. He's been an NFL guy for a number of years before he went to Michigan, and now I think he's going to do good things with the running game with the Chargers. We'll see what he does with Justin Herbert, but operating a pro-style system with a pro-style coach where you're given full autonomy at the line of scrimmage is important. Also, something's just a small detail. So this year they're allowing communicators with the sidelines. So gone are the giant cards. You just read on the sidelines, right? And a lot of times in college football, they'll run in a play with a single word, and then the quarterback will look on his play caller. But McCarthy mentioned that in Michigan they had the full play call, so the full verbiage, and that's something that rookie quarterbacks coming into the league, they do struggle with, going from, hey, we're going to run 4 verts, or hey, we're going to run 4, or hey, just looking over at the card and deciphering the play and looking at the play caller. Now, yes, obviously quarterbacks in the NFL were play callers, but spitting out the entire play call and getting it out while you're on the road and the opposing stadium is rocking and it's loud and the guys can't hear you and the clock is ticking and they just want you to spit out the play call. That's a big jump. That's a big transition. The fact that McCarthy already has experience with that, with extended verbiage, like I said, pro-style system, pro-style coach, that does give him a huge leg up. And it's just interesting because you can see why McCarthy, even though he's obviously working on some things at OTAs, there's a lot to like. I think the floor with McCarthy is extremely high, and given his work ethic, given his skills, and also everyone raving about the kid having a friggin' hose for an arm, I think that all bodes well. And like I said, I love all this behind-the-scene content that we're getting, and it just helps peel the layers of the onions with JJ McCarthy. It's like, it turns out he's not an onion. He's a beautiful shallot that we'll poach lovingly in some olive oil. I don't know, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. JJ McCarthy makes a cameo on Hard Knocks, New York Giants offseason. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.